Greetings, beloved, and welcome to our Wholesome Wednesday on Mercy Abound. Thank you so much for your continued support. We continue with our book of Exodus. Last week we spoke about Exodus chapter 33 and chapter 34, where we are talking about the children of Israel. Now it's time to go. God says it is time to go. There is a time for everything. There was a time when they arrived on Mount Sinai, and this was a time for them to leave. There is always a time for everything. So today, we are in Exodus chapter 35, which is just a continuation from Exodus chapter 34. Moses now is called back to the mountain. He is going up the mountain because God has told him to carve 2 table stones that he got where he is going to. Remember, this is a replacement of what happened earlier on. Moses has gone up the mountain. Remember, we spoke about that. And the finger of God has actually written down the commandments. And Moses is gone for long, right, for 40 days up the mountain. And when he is coming down, God has already told him that your children, the children of Israel are already sinning and they are worshiping idols. And Moses comes down and he sees this picture from the top of the mountain. And he is so enraged and he throws down the commandments that had been written down. So they break. Now Moses is going up the mountain. This time, God has told him now that you're going to carve, right, these 2 tables of stone, and you're gonna bring them and you're gonna write down the commandments again. Now, you can imagine, picture this. After such a disappointment from the children of Israel, and a lot that has happened, like we agreed last week, that there is so much that has happened, and now Moses is walking up the mountain. God is saying, come up the mountain. Make sure there is no one outside there, no any animals outside. You come up the mountain in the morning. And you can imagine as he is walking, going up that mountain, remembering the last time he went up, what happened, remembering how much he was so excited to go spend some time with God, remembering coming down that mountain, how so much he was enraged, how so much last time when he went up, he was representing a certain number of the Israelites that are no longer there because of their rebelliousness that happened when he was up the mountain. He is walking that journey all over again with a burden upon his shoulders. Are the children of Israel going to be rebellious again? Are they going to do that same behavior when I'm up the mountain? Is it them, or there's something about these commandments that is making the children of Israel sin? So Moses, he is walking this journey. So one step after the other, 1 foot after the other, as he's climbing. He's not getting young. He's old, right? He's not getting young. And as he's walking up, as he is walking up the mountain, all these thoughts are coming in. All these thoughts of what happened, of how God came through, of how they are all coming in. But as he's taking each step, and as each thought is coming and trying to weigh him down, he's getting more strides going up. The love for the children of Israel, the restoration that is going to come if they remain faithful down the mountain. And he continues to pursue this trip like God had promised that he's going to be there. He looks at the bigger picture, the love that he has for these people, the covenant that was made, that God wants to restore, right? He looks at all this despite the hardship of going up. He says, I would rather face that hardship and continue with the journey so that this covenant is restored. How many of us, the older people, How many of us as parents, how many of us as people of influence, how many of us as leaders having so much love and are willing to carry the burden and are willing to change the narrative of those that are going to come before us, leave things restored. Moses has a dream of he's realizing that he's also old, but he's willing to say, in my old age, there are those that are coming behind me. I have to leave this covenant restored. I have to reconcile God's people back to God. I have to bring these tables of, I have to restore whatever was broken. He is willing as a leader to sacrifice much for the sake of the people. How many of us as leaders are willing to lay our lives down for those that we are leading? How many of us as leaders are pushed even when the weight of age is weighing heavily on our shoulders, are rather propelled and pushed up by the idea of living a good uh, a good relationship with those that are following behind us. How many of us are willing to make a life to make a better life for those that are coming behind us? How many of us are willing to sacrifice themselves? To sacrifice. Now you'd imagine Moses is going up, he's thinking, if they become rebellious again, what is going to happen? Are these people going to be killed here? And this will be the end of the tribe of Israel? What is going to happen? Because remember the last time he was up the mountain, God was saying, let me destroy these people and get done with them. And he had to remind God of the promises that he made in the past. He had to remind God that there are the nations around that are watching, that are seeing you leading these people from captivity up to here, where you promised them freedom. What are they going to say? They would think you brought these people to kill them. Now he's thinking, obviously, it's coming to his mind. Now, if they rebel again, what is going to happen? Is God going to be merciful again? Are these people? If it were me, I was going to sit there and think, what is the point of going up there when you are going to remain here rebellious? After all that I did, you know how after all that I did, after all the effort that I put, after going up the mountain, after spending so much time there up the mountain, and then you are so rebellious and you know, why would I go up the mountain? I will not do it again. Or even if I were to do it again, I would tell them, now I'm going up the mountain, behave yourselves. I don't want people who let me down. I'm trying, the way we would. Moses doesn't do that. It's internal. The struggle is internal. But what is coming out clear, it is the love for the people that is propelling, that is pushing Moses up. With each step, it's getting easier and easier, because when he thinks of the way he loves his people, the way he loves the children of Israel, he is willing to take that risk so that the relationship is restored. He gets up the mountain and God meets Moses. And God talks to Moses about how much he loves, right? He talks to Moses about how much he is long suffering, right? He is reminding Moses, it's not that God changed his mind because Moses told him that no, you don't have to destroy it. No, God is long suffering, right? He is long suffering, and he reminds Moses that I actually kept the children of Israel. I didn't destroy them because I'm long suffering. I am loving. But I also do not want people who sin. I don't like sin. I love people, but I don't like sin. I don't love sin. Right? And I remember the iniquity of the fathers to the generation up to the third generation, remembering what they did. So I want people to do good. People would love using this verse to say, what kind of a God would, when you talk about forgiveness, they'll say, but how come God doesn't forgive? He says he remembers what the children have done, what the fathers have done, what the forefather, up to the third generation, he will still be holding on. Why can't he forgive? Right? We like misquoting that verse, and we don't adhere to or listen to what the preceding verse, God first starts by telling us that he is long suffering. He tells us that he is long suffering, he is loving. And then he talks about how he remembers the iniquity of the forefathers up to the third generation. Now, you find us picking the last part and forgetting the first part. God is still long suffering. I don't know how many verses in the Bible that we can use where God has said, I'm done, I'm done, I'm done, I'm done with you. And then he comes back because God is long suffering. God is loving. God is love. Right? So Moses is up the mountain and God is telling him, I'm love, I'm long suffering. I do good. I love my people. And then God, of course, then all right, it reminds Moses, or he says all over again the commandments and the things that they should do, the things that they shouldn't do to Moses, showing that he is renewing that covenant, renewing the promise, the agreement that they had. And then Moses comes down the mountain, and guess what? This time it's all good. There is nothing bad. And Moses is able to present these precepts, these principles to the people, that this is what God, this is the ideal that God is expecting from us. Now, what are we learning from today's chapter? One, we are learning as leaders that we should sacrifice. Sometimes we might look at ourselves and say, we are already old. Let the young prepare themselves for the future. Let them fight for themselves. Let them be able to do these things on their own. Yes, that is true. They must be willing to sacrifice, to do all those things, but they need, because this covenant is broken when it's Moses who is in charge. And Moses, as a leader, is willing to, he doesn't say, let the young ones work hard and go and try and when they have, and try and go and restore, right, this covenant that has been broken. No, he says, in his mind, he might be saying, this covenant was broken when it was me. And I also would want to be part of the restoration of this covenant. Yes, God says, Moses, come up. It's God who gives that instruction. But God is calling Moses to come up is because Moses is also willing to restore, is willing to make things right, so that those that are behind him, they, even if he were to sleep, they were to find, right, a covenant that has been restored. So as we are leading in our spheres of influence, things that have been broken in our time, let us strive. Let us strive to restore them in our time. Things that we found in place, let us strive to still release or let them go while they are still intact. Things that get broken, because life happens, things that get broken in our time, let us strive, let us learn from Moses. Whilst things happen, whilst life happens, let us strive. Us who were in charge when things fell apart, let us be willing again to be in unity, to bring in restoration and healing and continue with the covenants of our forefathers that God had actually made promised. So let us be willing, basically, as leaders and elders, to restore things that are broken. When these things keep from under our feet coming up and making us uncomfortable, let us not continue to put more rags so that these skeletons are under the rags. No, let us be willing to address these things. They were broken in our time. It's actually us who understand these skeletons more than the youth, more than the young, more than those that are trying to follow, more than those that are trying to come into the faith. It's us who know these skeletons. So it's us who are able to face these demons, because we actually know these demons by name. Some of these demons, they became demons because they were fighting with us. But because we didn't do things well, we put them under the carpet. Let us be willing to remove the carpet and face those demons ourselves, because they came under the rug when we were in church. They came under the rug through our leadership, during our leadership. So let us be willing to do the right thing and clear the path for those that are coming behind us. They will run with vigor. They will run with strength. They will run and make so much strides. If we are willing to clear the path for them, they are willing to run. But sometimes these youths, they fail to reach their full potential because they have to take care of our own skeletons that we left under the rug, and they have to face these demons that they know nothing about, that ourselves we are to leave under the carpet. Let us not be fearful of these skeletons. We can decide to face them and do what is good, so that our children and our children's children and our children's children's children, when they hear of what we did, just like we are talking about Moses today, we are hearing in Moses. And when we are hearing Moses, all of us want to imitate Moses. Why? Because he did the hard work that he needed to do, that he was supposed to do. He could have decided not to do and put things under the rug. But no, he decided to stand and do the needful, so that me and you today, we can have a role model that we can try and imitate and do good because of what he did years ago. So we have a chance. It doesn't matter the age. It doesn't matter how old you are. You can still make a difference by paving the way for those that are coming behind you. It could be a small organization that you think, I'm just a manager here of a small organization. It's not even big. But the steps that you are taking in that small organization, your children's children might find that they will be actually benefiting from you doing that good. So let us continue doing good, even if no one is seeing us, even if we do not know what is going to happen in the future when we are long gone. Let us pursue what is good. Thank you so much for watching. From us here, Mercy Abounds team, we wish you a blessed week ahead. Let us meet again next Wednesday for another episode.